Bible. Genesis 1:7. And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. Genesis 1:7. In VidDevo Bible, if we added to the word, if we changed the word, if we interpreted the word, if we played with the word, if we rearranged too much the word, then we play God by changing the story, redefining the focus. Adding or subtracting from the Word of God is a dangerous principle to set into place, because then you begin to do it everywhere in the Word of God. So in Genesis 1:7, we're simply told this: and God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. In other words, this is what God did. God made the firmament. This is what God said about what he did and what he made. And divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. There were waters above the firmament, and there were waters below the firmament. We're told that God made the firmament, and that he divided that waters above the firmament from the waters that are below the firmament. It doesn't make any sense at all to anyone that is a Bible scholar to begin to change what God has said. In the stories that were told, in the way that it was written, in the way that it was communicated in days of old, it was a journey, as it were, of listening to what the sage was saying, paying close attention to the words and the detail that he was using, listening, as it were, to the word that you heard, so you would know what it was that God had done, that God had said, and the way that the sages had communicated it throughout the centuries, around the campfire, and eventually recorded into writing, and writing it down and inscribing it. But at first it was not so. It was just like if you heard the story once upon a time. That's the way this was written. And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. It is an easy verbalization of the realization of the fact of the way that it's written in the written word, that it was actually a verbal communication that was spoken, that was recorded for us. I love that. And I enjoy that, because then I can't make a mistake about what is being said. I can't add or change or rearrange or deny the fact of what's occurring. It is a statement being made. It is a fact of reality. It is the Word of God that you heard. It is the Spirit of God telling us what the Word is, what it has always been, and what it ever shall be. Since we are told that we need to know the Word of God, then Genesis 1:7 shall always be, and it ever will be. And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. As he divided it, it became so. It's always interesting when people want to, have to, try to, or will in some way add their own meaning to the Word of God. Don't do it. Listen, think, pay attention, hear, repeat, and do. For this is the Word of God as God has spoken it to us. This is the Bible as God has given it to us. This is what God has said. Anything less is less. Anything more is an addition. But exactly as you have heard the Word in VidDevo Bible, so it is written, so it is recorded forever. And God made the firmament. It is obvious that the firmament was made by God. Not any other occasion is recorded, not any other occasion is stated. It is simply said, and God made the firmament. And God divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. That in the same aspect with which God does division, and we have no idea what that means, God divided what was above from what was below. And what was above was water, and what was below was water. So what was above the firmament was water, and what was below the firmament was water, and God used the firmament to divide the two. So we have the only things that are said is the only things we need to hear and the only things we need to remember. So when we read this, we remember and observe these things that God has said in His Word. And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. And as you have heard the Word in the VidDevo Bible, even as you have been in the Word of God for the last 7 minutes.